Hi, so we're working on Module 1, Lesson 10. For today's assignment, we are subtracting decimals using a place value chart and place value discs, so dots, or by just using the standard algorithm, okay? So the first part, part 1, is all of these questions. It's 4 questions, and this is just using the unit form to subtract. You can still use your place value discs and the place value chart to subtract them. So number 1 says subtract, writing the difference in standard form. You may use a place value chart to solve. So here's the place value chart and what it should look like on your page. The place value discs are right above them, the red dots. You can click on those and drag them around as you need to for however many you need, and then you won't be crossing them out to take them out. You will need to be dragging them out of the box, okay? So number 1A says 5/10 minus 2/10. So you're going to put in the place value chart 5/10 because that's what it's starting with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, instead of just crossing them out because we can just drag them out of the box, I'm just going to erase them, but you will click them and drag them. So starting with 5/10, and then you're taking away 2/10. You are subtracting 2/10. So you're taking away 2 discs. So 1, 2. So now we are left with 1, 2, 3/10. So that is what you're going to plug in for that first part. 3 in the blank, just the digit 3. Then you need to write it in standard form, so as a decimal. So 3/10 in unit form is also equal to 0.3 in standard form. Okay, that's the first part. The next problem, B, 5 ones, 9 thousandths minus 2 ones. So I'm going to show on my place value table, place value chart, what that's going to look like. So 5 ones, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 thousandths, so all the way over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I'm showing 5 ones, 9 thousandths, what it's starting with on problem B, minus subtract 2 ones. So I'm just going to erase or drag out 2 of the discs, 1, 2. So now that was it. You didn't have to do anything with the thousandths because you didn't need to regroup. You didn't need to take away any thousandths. It just said subtract 2 ones. So now what's left over is our answer, our difference. So I have 3 ones, 9 thousandths. So that's what you're plugging in the blanks. 3 ones, 9 thousandths. So now you need to write that as a decimal, so in standard form. So 3 ones, so that would be 3 and then decimal. How many tenths? 0/10. So you need to put a placeholder, so 0. How many hundredths? No hundredths, so 0. How many thousandths? 9, so 9. Okay, just like that. So now C. 7 hundredths, 8 hundredths minus 4 hundredths. So now let's show that. Oh, but I don't have a hundredths place on this table. So we're going to have to improvise. So I know we have 7 hundredths, 8 hundredths. But on the place value chart, it doesn't go all the way to the hundredths, not the one that I put on your assignment. But I know we're not taking away anything from the hundredths. We're only taking away from the hundredths. So the 7 hundredths stays as 7 hundredths. So now we can show that 8 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would click and drag 8 of the place value discs into the hundredths place. And then you're taking away 4 hundredths. So 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that gives us left over 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths. So 4 hundredths. Okay. The 700s, I just rewrote it into the answer because we're not taking away anything from it, only from the hundredths. Okay. So now write it in standard form. So that would be 700, right? 700 looks like that. 700 4 hundredths. So in order to show 4 hundredths, you would have to have decimal 0, 4. Okay, that's not a 6, it's a 0, so there we go. Okay, next one. 37 thousandths minus 16 thousandths. So now, this one, you will show a little bit differently because we don't need to add 37 place value discs in the thousandths place. 37 thousandths is also equal to 3 hundredths, 7 thousandths. So we can put 3 here for 30 thousandths and then 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now you're going to take away 16 thousandths. So that means take away 1 hundredth and 6 thousandths. So now I'm just going to take those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the 6 thousandths, but now I need the 1 hundredth or the 10 thousandths. Okay, so now 37 thousandths minus 16 thousandths gives us 2 hundredths, 1 thousandth, or 21 thousandths. So that goes right here, 21 thousandths. So now you need to write that in standard form. So I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not going to give you that answer. So how many ones, decimal, how many tenths, how many hundredths, how many thousandths in standard form in that blank right here, okay? So next part. Now for this part, number 2, solve using the standard algorithm. So you don't have to use the place value chart. You don't have to use the table. You can if you want, but we do not need to because now we're just using the standard algorithm, which is a little bit faster if you understand how to do it on your own. So now your problem looks like this. 1 and 4 tenths minus 7 tenths equals blank. What I did is I went in and I wrote in the standard algorithm for you. I lined up your place values for you. So it should look like this. So if we have 1 and 4 tenths, and we're going to take away 7 tenths, it's not just lining up that you have a digit here and then whatever's left over. It's lining up the place values. So 7 tenths, so that's 7 in the tenths place, 0 ones. Just like that. And decimal here. Okay. So now you would subtract. So 4 minus 7, we don't have enough. We need to regroup. So we need to take away 1, 1. So that makes 0 ones and exchange it for 10 tenths. So 10 tenths plus the 4 tenths makes 14 tenths. So now we have 14 tenths minus 7 tenths. So 14 minus 7 is 7. And then we have our decimal. And 0 ones minus 0 ones is 0. Okay? So that's your answer, and you would plug that in on the blank, 0.7. So now on these next ones, these next 4, I'm going to show you how you line them up, and then this last one I'll do together with you. But you still need to answer all of the questions, all of the fill in the blanks. So now we have 91 and 49 hundredths. So I'm going to write right here, 91 decimal 49 hundredths minus 7 tenths. So that's not 7 here because that would line it up with the 9, and the 9 is in the hundredths place. So we would have to put 7 in the tenths place, which would be right here. So 7 tenths decimal 0 ones, just like that. So you can subtract just like that, and I could say 9 minus nothing, so 9 minus 0 is still 9. or you can plug in your placeholders, so your zeros. Okay, so then go ahead and subtract, plug in your answer in the blank right there. So now the next one, 191 and 49 hundredths minus 10 and 72 hundredths. So start with your first part, so 191 and 49 hundredths minus, and then line up your place values. So you have 72 hundredths. So 72 hundredths, and then you have 10. Okay, so then subtract, plug in your answer in the blank. Next one, 7 and 148 thousandths minus 7 hundredths. So start with your first part, so 7 and 148 thousandths minus 7 hundredths. So the 7's not going to go below the 8 because that's the thousandths place. The 7 goes in the hundredths place. Okay, so just like that. So the 7 lines up with the 4 because that's all the hundredths. 0 lines up with 1. Decimal, 0 lines up with 7. Okay, solve it and then plug in your answer here. Then we have 60 and 91 hundredths minus 2 and 856 thousandths. So start with your first part. So 60 and 91 hundredths minus 2 and 856 thousandths. So that means that 6 ends in the thousandths place. So that would have to go like this. Okay, that's why the 6 is kind of like by itself, because this one only goes to the hundredths place, but this one goes to the thousandths place. So we have 2 ones as well. Okay, so remember you can plug in your zeros for placeholders for anything that's blank. So if you want to put a 0 here and a 0 here, that's totally fine. So then you'd have 0 minus 6. You don't have enough. You need to regroup. 0, 10. Okay, and then if you don't have enough here, then you need to regroup again. So finish that up and then plug in your answer here. So now the last one we're going to do together. So again, 361 and 31 hundredths minus 2 and 841 thousandths. So start with your first part, 361 and 31 hundredths minus 2 and 841 thousandths. So that means 841 thousandths is going to look just like that. So this 1 is going to be kind of by itself. Oops. And then 2 ones just like that. So you can plug in placeholders if you want. So 0 here, 0, 0 there. So now we have 0 minus 1. We don't have enough, so we need to regroup. So 10 minus 1, which is 9. So now 0 minus 4. Again, we don't have enough, so we need to borrow from the tens place. So that makes 2. And then 10. So 10 minus 4, 6. So now 2 minus 8. We don't have enough, so we need to regroup from the ones. So that makes 0 ones. And now 12 tenths. So now 12 minus 8 is 4. So now decimal, because now we're in the ones place. So now 0 minus 2, we don't have enough, so we need to regroup again. So that makes 5 there, and then 10 ones. So now 10 minus 2, which is 8. And then 5 minus 0, 5, because we're not taking away anything. 3 minus 0, 3. So now that's it. 358 and 469 thousandths. So you need to make sure you plug in the answer in the blank over here. And then that's it. Make sure you did your 20 minutes of Zearn for today and catch up on any math assignments that you need to. Good job.